Imagine a cyber attack so precise that it cripples an entire nation's maritime operations, leaving dozens of ships stranded at sea without communication or navigation tools. This isn't the plot of a Hollywood thriller. It's the reality of what unfolded in late August 2025, when hackers executed a devastating campaign against Iran's maritime infrastructure. But here's where it gets controversial. Was this act of sabotage justified as a means to curb sanctions evasion? Or does it cross an ethical line by endangering civilian lives? Let's dive into the details and let you decide. Rather than targeting individual ships scattered across international waters, an approach that would have been logistically impossible, the attackers took aim at the heart of Iran's maritime communications network. They infiltrated Fanava Group, an IT provider responsible for satellite communications, serving Iran's sanctioned tanker fleets. By compromising outdated iDirect Falcon terminals used by the company, they gained unrestricted access to Linux systems, running kernel version 2.6.35, and mapped out the entire fleet through a centralized MySQL database. The initial breach purportedly exploited unpatched vulnerabilities in legacy Falcon management consoles. Once inside, the attackers harvested sensitive data, including modem serial numbers, network IDs, and IP phone configurations, all stored in plain text. Among the exposed credentials were shockingly simple passwords like 1402@Argo and 1406@Diamond. These details became weapons in the hands of the attackers, enabling them to orchestrate a synchronized blackout that disrupted email, FBB SIM communications, automated weather updates, and even port coordination signals almost instantaneously. Researchers from Nariman Garib identified this operation, codenamed Lab-Dookhtegan, as more than just a one-time disruption. Email logs dating back to May revealed persistent access and periodic node-down tests, suggesting that the attackers had maintained control over the networks for months before launching their destructive finale. On August 18th, they executed what can only be described as a scorched earth strategy, overwriting multiple storage partitions on satellite modems with zero data. This rendered remote recovery impossible, effectively crippling Iran's sanctioned fleets, NITC and IRISL, at a critical time when covert oil transfers to China were intensifying. Without vital communication links, these tankers now risk drifting off course or becoming sitting ducks for boarding and seizure. The precision of the attack underscores a meticulous reconnaissance phase, allowing the threat actors to deliver maximally disruptive payloads at the worst possible moment. And this is the part most people miss. The attackers didn't just disable communications. They struck during a period of heightened geopolitical tension, amplifying the impact of their actions. So how did the malware spread so effectively? The infection mechanism relied on a multi-stage process. It began with gaining initial access through unprotected management ports, followed by lateral movement using SSH keys extracted from MySQL dumps. From there, destructive scripts were deployed to wipe primary storage partitions and recovery slices. For instance, commands similar to the following were executed: dd if equals dev0 of dev mmcblk0p1, bs dd if dev0 of dev mmcblk0p2, bs 1mem. These commands systematically erased critical data, ensuring that firmware and configurations could not be restored without physical intervention. Simultaneously, SQL queries extracted the fleet's blueprint, select serial number, vessel name, network ID from modems. Armed with this information, the attackers automated credential injection and shut down sequences across 64 vessels using a single orchestration script. By embedding malicious cron entries, they achieved both persistence and timed execution, triggering the blackout at a moment calculated to maximize operational chaos. This sophisticated infection chain highlights the importance of isolating management interfaces and enforcing strict patching regimes on critical satellite communication systems. Without these safeguards, organizations leave themselves vulnerable to similar attacks. So what do you think? Was this cyber sabotage a necessary measure to enforce global sanctions, or was it an overreach that put innocent sailors at risk? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. If you're concerned about protecting your own systems from such threats, consider boosting your Security Operations Center, SOC capabilities. You can request a free trial of premium threat intelligence services today to help safeguard your business.